Good evening, everyone. I'm Erin Predmore, President and CEO of the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of the Chamber and our Success School, we welcome you to tonight's event. I'd first like to give a special thank you to the Edgewood High School Choral Department for submitting that great performance video for us this evening from their show choir. It was a great way for us to get started. I've got my balloons ready to celebrate as well. And we can't wait to take a moment and thank the many educators in our community for all of the hard work that they've done this year. I think we can certainly agree that the past year has been challenging beyond belief. The stresses that we've all felt during the pandemic have been even more acutely affected by our educators, the people in our community who guide our children through their formative years. This evening, we're recognizing and giving thanks to all the teachers who have worked so hard over the last 12 months. We're sorry that conditions prevent us from celebrating each of you in person, because every single teacher deserves a standing ovation and a hug. From wherever you are, please clap your hands or raise a toast to these tremendous champions of our community. We're so lucky to live in a community that values education. Businesses here understand the importance of providing a strong education for all, and the Chamber is committed to continue our support of our local schools. We're especially thankful for our partners at the Monroe County Community School Corporation and the Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation. They form the bedrock of Monroe County's future, and we so appreciate their leadership. To all of you, thanks again for joining us tonight to recognize just a few tremendous achievements in education. We're also very fortunate that Solution Tree calls Bloomington home. I'd like to welcome Ed Ackerman up to the stage to tell us more about how Solution Tree is partnering with us on this event. So Ed, let's welcome him.
Well, thanks for that introduction, Erin. We're thrilled to be here and joining you once again. You know, for sure, we want to acknowledge the proponency, support, and leadership of the Chamber. I'm just so thrilled to be part of this program again, to participate tonight with the other leaders that are participating, these fine group of sponsors, the other attendees, but especially those that we're recognizing tonight. I'm also very thrilled to have 5 of my teammates here with me virtually as part of the meeting and the celebration. But Solution Tree continues to provide professional development to educators around the world. We're especially pleased, though, to support local educators. And as part of this program, we continue to make a donation, a gift in recognition of the awardees of $500 to each of their schools. We also invite the awardees again this year to attend free of charge any of our workshops or institutes that are upcoming. So thank you again, and we're pleased to participate.
Well, thank you, Ed, very, very much for your continued generosity. I know every year this is one of the favorite parts of, I know that the teachers and the awardees enjoy the trophy that we give them, but I seriously believe that one of the most important things that they get is that extra training from you and the acknowledgement that this being an educator means that you're continually growing and learning yourself. So thank you for being a partner with all of us to celebrate our teachers.
Thank you.
For all of you, awardees are selected by committee of education and business professionals and community leaders. The selection process is always tough, and especially so this year, as we received an incredible number of nominations. We read so many submissions about amazing educators who do amazing things. Choosing among them was a tough job. Once you hear our awardees' stories, I'm sure you'll agree that our 2021 awardees are all very deserving. Their stories, and those who have received these awards in the past, set the bar high and encourage others to continue their efforts in the classroom and beyond. Thank you. What you do is so greatly appreciated. The Chamber's 800+ member businesses would all agree to the value of providing quality education in our area. Many of those businesses are supporting tonight's event in multiple ways. I'd like to take a moment to thank those businesses who are our sponsors. You helped make tonight possible, and you also made it possible for everyone in the community to attend tonight's event free of charge. Our sponsors in this evening include Solution Tree, Cook Group, German American, IU Credit Union, First Financial Bank, Ivy Tech Community College Bloomington, the Herald Times, and RCB Roofing. We'd like to give an additional thanks to RCB Roofing and Seamless Gutters of Bloomington. They're generously will be providing $1,250 worth of services for the Lifetime Achievement Award winner. Let's give a round of applause for all of our sponsors, our businesses that support our schools, and help to celebrate the excellence in education. We're now going to pass things off to Christopher MG, the principal of the Success School, to update you all on the work that we've been doing in the school systems this past year. So we'll welcome Christopher up.
Thank you, Aaron, for that introduction. It's fun to be here tonight. This is my third Educator of the Year award ceremony, and it's one of my, if not my favorite night of the year of just a warm fuzzy that all the work these educators have put in, not just this year, but for their entire career. But I'm here to talk about the Success School, and for almost 25 years, the Chamber Success School has had a mission of helping to provide real-world learning opportunities for area students to increase academic engagement and excite young people about future careers. As Aaron mentioned, we are fortunate to have two strong school systems in our area. Their commitment to education extends well beyond the classrooms. We are lucky to be able to partner with both of them. Now, despite the pandemic, the Success School continues to double down our efforts to leverage our members' work, skills, and career awareness in partnering with the community schools to produce graduates ready for success and providing opportunities to learn. Those opportunities include job skills, entrepreneurship, career exploration, soft skills, and financial literacy. The 5 keys guide all the work through the Success School. Now, the Advisory Council continues to ensure our offerings are supportive of the work of the public schools and our partnerships with them. With schools in our community taking every precaution to ensure the safety of their students, we have taken a break from those in-school events such as the community favorite reality store. This has us to change our approach. As a result of the feedback from our Advisory Council, we have been able to provide some of those same resources online. Long before the pandemic, our website was really an afterthought on how we addressed our mission. Now, each of our Success School program has its own page with resources embedded right there. For example, our career days page, normally it's dedicated to simply just obtaining volunteers for 3 separate events we have. Now it houses over 24 10 to 12 minute videos from volunteers explaining their profession. Career intro panels. Now we have pages, a series of panel industries that are constantly expanding. Our financial literacy page has interactive modules for ages 3 through high school. The entrepreneurship page has been added with an array of resources for teachers and parents alike. Even the soft skills section includes a series of short PowerPoints and 2 fully recorded workshops. And finally, I am proud to announce that on the 1st of April, our first reality store with virtual reality store with volunteers will take place at Bachelor Middle School. This year has presented us with many challenges, but we have been able to see this as an opportunity to add these interactive pages as tools for teachers, students, and families alike. We are looking forward to coming back into the classrooms with students, but for now, we are glad to be able to connect with them in some way online. Now that we've heard about what the Success School is doing, let's get to the focus of this evening's event, what our educators have been doing over the last year with so many new and continuing obstacles. Right now, I'd like to invite Cindy Canarney to join me on screen to kick off the awards ceremony. Cindy is the regional president of German American Bank and is currently serving as our board chair and the board representative for the Success School. Cindy?
Hi, Christopher. Thanks so much for all of that. I'm so pleased to be here with everybody again tonight. Certainly virtually this year, and would much prefer to be there in person to congratulate everyone. This is certainly one of the most inspirational things I get the privilege of doing, and I appreciate you guys having me back. So tonight, we're celebrating excellence. Outstanding Educator Awards are given for outstanding service and dedication to the field of education, fellow educators, and Monroe County youth. This year, we're honoring 8 outstanding educators, 1 incredible educational program, and a Lifetime Achievement Awardee. So let's kick things off with our first outstanding educator, Mariah Bruce. Mariah is a 5th grade teacher and the coordinator of the Virtual Academy at Edgewood Intermediate School, who truly embraces and committed her career to cultivating the art and science of teaching. According to one of her nominators, she understands the critical role of an educator in a child's life and takes that role on with reverence. Through the pandemic, Mariah has leveraged new digital tools, virtual discussions, and engagement spaces, and her optimistic outlook to see the past year as one full of opportunities and growth and new ways to learn rather than a year of simply endure or get through. And we are proud to recognize her as our first outstanding educator tonight. So let's meet Mariah.
My name is Mariah Bruce, and I teach 5th grade at Edgewood Intermediate, which is in Richland Bean Blossom Community School Corporation. I chose to be an educator early on in my youth because I generally enjoyed working with children, from my high school babysitting service to my college basketball clinics, the field practicum hours. I always was the one volunteering to go and work with these children. We're at a large elementary, and we utilize the collaboration, and we have a wonderful learning environment, but we all as teachers collaborate and work together to make learning enjoyable. We look forward to in 5th grade is our legacy trip where we go to Bradford Woods. And I feel like during that year, the 5th grade teachers do a good job, a wonderful job of planning and preparing, engaging the students all year long to get to have that culminating experience. When I received the call, I was Zooming with a small group, and it was the last 3 minutes. And so I said to them, you guys have a couple minutes, go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. There's a parent calling. I put myself on mute, and I answered the phone. And at first, when he started talking, I thought, oh, well, this isn't a parent. This must be some sort of, telemarketer. And then I hear him say, teacher of the year, would I, want to accept this honor? And I wanted to stop and say, oh, wait, excuse me, could you repeat that? I didn't hear it, I'm so sorry. But then I stopped, and he kept talking, and then I said, absolutely I would. And then he reiterated his name, and I just was excited at that point. Grinning from ear to ear. And then I hang up the phone, and my students are all pointing at me and giving me thumbs up. And so I unmuted myself, and they said, what happened? So it was awesome. I, of course, would love to thank my family, my husband, who's my biggest cheerleader, my son, who I've been able to spend a lot of time with and help along this way during quarantine and COVID I appreciate the community. I appreciate businesses that make this even possible. I thank the Chamber, Bloomington Chamber of Commerce for having these sorts of awards, because boy, I feel like teachers do a lot, and to be recognized for that is wonderful.
Thank you and congratulations, Mariah. We're inspired by your optimism and your leadership. I have to say the applause there is not as enthusiastic as we normally do in person. I think everybody would agree with me on that, but better than not having it. Our next awardee is Sheila Butler, adult education teacher at Broadview Learning Center. As an adult educator, Sheila has empowered over 200 out-of-school youth and adults in the past 3 years to earn either their high school diploma or pass the high school equivalency test, allowing them to move on to further education or training in college, the military, apprenticeships, or certification programs. Sheila was an early adopter of video conferencing to connect with her students. She was determined not to lose any students during the pandemic. And when schools opened back up later in 2020, she continued to offer her classes both in person and online. She even created a series of training webinars and videos to help other teachers learn how to use video conferencing to deliver distance learning. Sheila is passionate about her student success and generous with her own personal time and resources to keep barriers like transportation from inhibiting her students from graduating. Sheila serves as a role model to many, and we are happy to celebrate her as our next outstanding educator.
My name is Sheila Butler. I'm an adult educator. I work at Broadview Learning Center with Monroe County Schools, and it's an adult ed center that we have. Well, adult education is different because you don't earn your credits to get a high school diploma. You prepare and learn the material so that you can pass a high school equivalency exam. I think what makes it unique for us is that we give people second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances, whatever it takes. I have had students that are kind of a revolving door. They come in and out, but when they eventually make it, it's pretty amazing. And I think that's probably what makes us special. The teaching style differs with adults because you bank on that they have some previous knowledge. So you're kind of like teaching them to get back on that bike. So you know that probably some wonderful teacher somewhere has spent copious hours teaching them this skill where they do many, and they just didn't quite get it. And adults tend to pick it up quicker. So you figure a way to remind them what that is. And so that's something I think I have become really good at, and is helping them figure out what makes sense. And I teach math in a very different way than a math teacher does because I'm kind of connecting all the dots. And I think that's what makes adult ed different. Whereas with children, it's the very first time they've ever seen it. So you're having to teach it and teach it and teach it. But with adults, it's more of a reminding and maybe making it make sense for them for the first time. When I heard I won the award, it was like, I was busy and I get so many emails and so much text, and I had a voice message and I listened to it, and it was like I just smiled. And my teaching assistant said, "What's that?" And I said, "Oh, I just got Educator of the Year." And she's like, "Wow." And I said, "Well, Rob told me he would have nominated me, but I hadn't really expected to get it." So I said, that's a nice way to end my day. Of course, I would like to thank my boss, Rob Moore. He has been beside me ever since he was hired in. We've been really good friends. We work together well. We do a lot of projects together. And I would like to thank my family. They support me. They put up with me because I'm never home. They haul stuff for me. My son tutors for me. So it's, they're great support for me. They always have my back. And then my colleagues that I teach with, I have one of the best teaching staffs in the state of Indiana. Broadview is amazing, and we have an amazing staff of teachers. So I want to thank all of them.
Congratulations, Sheila. We know you'll continue to inspire your students with your leadership and passion. Our next awardee is Debbie Ferree, math teacher at Jackson Creek Middle School. Debbie has been teaching for MCCSC for over 35 years. Wow. And from those 35 years of teaching, Debbie rarely runs into a former student that she does not remember. Her nominators credit this to the way she goes above and beyond to connect with each student. From day one each year, Debbie asks each of her students to fill out a card with their interests and favorite things. She then uses those interests to individualize incentives for students. Debbie has also served as a mentor to young teachers, encouraging them to find a balance between their professional life and personal life in order to be able to support students. Many new teachers have sought advice from her about classroom management and techniques to reach all students. And she is always willing to suggest different methods and teaching concepts to help. It's a pleasure to recognize Debbie Ferree as one of our outstanding educators.
I am Debbie Ferree, and I have been a math teacher at Jackson Creek since it started in 1998, and I was a math teacher, swim coach at Bachelor starting in 1984 until 1998 when Jackson Creek opened. Well, I always felt that I was going to be a teacher. When I was a little girl and I was teaching my stuffed animals in my bedroom and taking attendance and doing all that, I always kind of felt like I was going to be a teacher. Well, my favorite moments with my students have been really an ongoing moment. Some years ago, I was told that my birthday, which is March 14th, is Pi Day. I guess it is, 3.14. So all the time in my classes over the years, I'm mentioning my birthday. I have all kinds of things in my room that have to do with pie, a pie plate, pie across the back of the wall, a pie mouse pad, pie on my clock, a lot of different things. What's interesting is the students remember my birthday. And I've had texts and emails from students over the time on my birthday wishing me a happy birthday. One of the other things which was really kind of comical is a student I had, he's in his 20s now. He works at a local pharmacy. I mean, I hadn't seen him in years, and I was getting ready to give him my name and birthday. And he says, I know your birthday. It's Pi Day. So then everybody in there that worked with him knows my birthday as well. So anyway, I share that ongoing, and it's a fond memory, and it's probably my favorite memory with the students over the years. Well, at first I was like, what? When they called me to tell me that I had won this award, I really couldn't believe it. I was very flattered, but have never felt like I've been in education for any kind of an award. So I feel like there's a lot of other people who are far more worthy of this award than me, but I do feel I'm very honored and very humbled by receiving this award. I would like to thank many of my colleagues in the math department for supporting me. Also like to thank our administrators. They are just awesome. And our media specialist, Chris McGlawn, she's wonderful, and she's a big part of how I've continued on with the technology. And I'd also like to thank my former aide, who is now working in the administration building. She and I had such a great connection. Her name is Kalyani, and we bonded, and she learned from me and I learned from her, and she was such a great help with the students. She gave me confidence when there was times I didn't have confidence. So I would like to thank all those people.
Congratulations on your award, Debbie, and thank you for being a positive role model for both students and fellow teachers. Okay, no applause that time, but we are all clapping. Our next awardee is Rebecca Guest Scott. Although she is typically an 8th grade language arts teacher, this year Rebecca is taking on the responsibility of building and managing the Edgewood Junior High Virtual Academy. As soon as she took on this role, Mrs. Guest Scott got straight to work with crafting a website to house as much information as possible about the new virtual class setting it, including facts, course timelines, navigation instruction, and resources for families. She took many hours and days to pore over the virtual class platform in order to fully grasp the best way to use it and teach others to use it. From there, she worked to cultivate community in the virtual school, just as she is in her in-person classrooms over the years. Her impact on Edgewood students this year has allowed them to have a rich, interactive education experience, even from their own homes. And we're proud to celebrate her this evening.
My name is Rebecca Guest-Scott. I am this year a virtual teacher for Edgewood Junior High School's Virtual Academy. We have over 100 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that are completely learning virtually from home. As their virtual teacher, I'm providing support, intervention, coaching, assistance, connection to help them get the most out of that virtual education. Most teachers, when you talk to them, love school so much that they never wanted to leave, and that's what drew them into education. And I had kind of the opposite experience. Because I didn't have a great experience, I really wanted to provide that great experience for other kids that I didn't have. I truly care about my students, and I think they know that. Even when they're difficult, I love them anyway. Oh my goodness, when I think back over the years, I've been teaching, this is my 16th year in the classroom, and over those years, it's so hard to narrow it down to one specific moment. But when I think back about all of my favorite moments, they're the moments when I can see a connection happen for a kid, where they're able to see themselves in a new way, where they can see that they have understood something, or they're capable of something, or they see themselves in their own life in a way that they never thought possible. And I have to say, some of my favorite teaching moments are always when I can bring members of the community into my classroom, when there can be a real world connection. I think that totally changes things for kids. I am incredibly passionate about this. I think the one thing that organizations in our local community could do to really help education is to encourage employees to volunteer in schools. Some of the most impactful projects I've ever done with students have involved community members coming in with a real problem. Hey, this is a problem I'm having. Can you help me with this? Or this is something that I've done that I'm going to share with you. It makes a huge difference to have that real world connection for students. Honestly, I think I would have to thank, not only my family, who supports me tremendously in the life, but the teachers that I work with every day who constantly inspire me, my administrators who are insanely supportive, and our support staff, our guidance counselors. I mean, school is truly a community. Even when I'm here on Virtual Island, school is a community. It doesn't work with just one person. I couldn't do anything that I'm doing on my own. I need my community in order to support kids. And so I would thank all of my colleagues.
Congratulations, and thank you for all that you do, Rebecca. I'm sure university is incredibly proud for your partnership. Our next awardee is Patty Harpring. Patty is a first grade teacher at University Elementary School and has been teaching elementary education since 1984. After teaching second grade the last 30 years, Mrs. Harpring was asked to take on a new role this year with first grade. In the fall of 2020, Patty moved rooms, collaborated with a new team, and brought a new classroom of children online to begin their first grade virtually. Wow, that would be interesting. She quickly learned how to comfortably teach on camera while showing her group of 6-year-olds how to navigate Canvas. Even in a year that was heavily impacted by the pandemic, Mrs. Harpring's 2019-2020 class went from 68% to 93% of students reading at or above their reading level, thanks to Patty's guidance and support. Her impact on her students this year has allowed them to have a rich, interactive education experience, even from their own homes. And we're certainly proud to celebrate her this evening.
My name is Patty Harpring. I'm a first grade teacher at University Elementary School. The first year I was teaching at first grade at University School, at the old University School, I had a group of first graders and I was getting them ready to go to lunch. And we were in several buildings back in those days, and we had to put our coats on to go everywhere. And this little kindergartner, she was a kindergartner, first grader, we were putting our coat on, she put her backpack on. And I said, well, honey, what are you putting your backpack on for? And she said, well, we're going home, aren't we? And I said, well, no, we're going to lunch, and then we're going to be doing the rest of our day of school. We have another half day of first grade. And she said, she put her hands on her hips and she said, well, who the heck signed me up for this anyway? She was like, she had no idea she was in first grade. So I thought, wow, that's what first graders are going to be like. It was really interesting. I'm most proud of kids' lives I've had an impact on. And when they come back to visit me or send me an email and they tell you that, I mean, it's the best feeling. You can't describe it. It just makes you feel so good. Well, actually, when I got that first phone call, I thought I was getting called for someone to tell me I was going to be able to get my vaccination because I'd signed up on that list. But I was flattered. I think I said, wow. But because like I said, I grew up in Bloomington. My family moved here when I was 4. So, just very flattered because I've had so many fabulous teachers growing up. And I mean, there's so many great, educators that are very dedicated in Bloomington. So very flattered to have somebody nominate me in that way. I just really am so appreciative of getting to work in this school, in this school corporation, because of the people I work with. They're so professional. Everybody works as a team. When COVID came about, my team got together in the summer at a teacher's house, and she invited us socially distanced with our masks on to help each other learn how to do this online learning on Canvas and teaching. I just really enjoy working around people like that love what they do so much that they'll put a lot of time and energy into it to make it good and to make it fun for their students and to be prepared. Those are the things that I like about my job. I love to come to school every day, just like I did when I was a child, and I feel really blessed to be able to do that.
Congratulations, and thank you for all that you've done over the years, Patty. I wanted to wish a heartfelt congratulations to all the award winners tonight. Again, I wish we could have celebrated together in person, and I hope that comes around for next year. I would now like to pass things back to Christopher to present the remainder of the awards.
Well, thank you, Cindy. We're all a little jealous of that office window looking on College Avenue. We are the second half of the awards ceremony, so please, if you need to stand up right now, go ahead. It's been a great first half, and I think humility and passion has defined these educators. Our next outstanding educator is Amber Mullin. Amber is a kindergarten inclusion teacher at Edgewood Primary. Her nominator noted that a defining characteristic of Mrs. Mullin's personality is that closed doors are seen as opportunities for open windows. If Amber hears a "you can't," she simply smiles and shows an "I can" attitude. This philosophy has been key during the transition from in-person to virtual schooling. Mrs. Mullin has tackled obstacles of social distancing and virtual learning with creative solutions and joyful spirit, remembering to keep the education of her kindergartners at the forefront of her work. She brings a fun sense of humor to Edgewood Primary staff and doesn't miss an opportunity to make someone smile or laugh regardless of what's going on in the outside world. Let's meet our outstanding educator, Amber Mullin. Amber?
My name is Amber Mullin, and I am the kindergarten special education teacher at Edgewood Primary School. I will admit that I sing and I dance, I tell stories, I wear costumes, whatever I need to do to keep them engaged. And maybe one day they'll realize that those songs and dances were so that they enjoyed learning and reading as much as I do. But above all else, I hope they say that Mrs. Mullin really cares about me. When the school had to close, it was much harder to have small groups. For my job, I do a lot of social skills work with my kiddos, and it's hard to practice social skills when you're at home. So we had to be creative in those kinds of ways. Coming back, I feel that we've done a really good job of giving our students time and space. And I think that has made the ease into following all of these safety protocols that we've put in place comfortable for them. I was thrilled when I heard that I had won this award. So it was an honor. And of course I called my mom. Well, there are so many people that I would like to thank for getting this award. I think that to start off with would have to be my colleagues, Mrs. Lance and Mrs. Burns, Mrs. PA, all of the counselors and therapists that go along with putting everything in place that our students need. Wonderful administration here at Edgewood Primary. They've definitely got our backs. Then I would have to say, probably my dear friend, now retired children's librarian, Miss Stephanie. Miss Stephanie, when I started teaching here, was just a wonderful role model of how I could make reading so important in kindergarten. And last but not least, of course, would be the family. I have a very supportive husband, and then, of course, my daughter, Macy, and my parents. So there are so many people that I feel should enjoy this award with me.
Thank you for all that you do, Amber. Congratulations again, Amber Mullin. Our next awardee this evening is Maggie Olivo, the music teacher for Fairfield Elementary School. From the very beginning of the school closures last year, Maggie stepped up and took on the challenge of coordinating the online learning schedule for all of Fairview Elementary. Not only did the schedule work for its time, but she found a way for it to be adaptable regardless of inconsistent closings and reopenings of schools due to COVID-19. Beyond that schedule, Maggie saw a need for widespread encouragement towards the end of the spring closure. She decided to coordinate all of Fairview teachers and staff for a video project that was sent out to students. They did a rendition of High Hopes by Panic at the Disco, where teachers sang the lyrics and encouraged students to keep high hopes in the midst of the abrupt change, social distancing, and online learning. According to her nominator, Miss Olivo was and still is a blanket of comfort for the Fairview teachers, students, parents, and staff alike. Let's learn a little bit more about Mrs. Olivo.
My name's Maggie Olivo, and I am the music teacher and arts coordinator at the Fairview Elementary Performing Arts School. Originally, my first degree is in music composition, and I would actually go to my professor, and somehow I always found a way to tie into kids or education. And there was one point when he just flat out said, you know, you always talk about kids. Have you thought about actually working with them? I ended up getting a job as a paraprofessional fresh out of undergrad at Bloomington High School South, and I got to work with Jennifer Robinson, who's just phenomenal, and I was blown away. So then I decided to go back to school and get a master's. One thing is, I'm such a sucker with the little kids. We have our violin project here, and one of my favorite moments is when we get some picture books out and we get the kids actually doing kind of like the musical soundtrack to the picture books on their instruments. But also we have all these amazing IU violinists who come in and help us with a project. And we did that with Eric Carl's The Very Busy Spider last year, pre-pandemic. I would say that I hope that my students understand the power that they have within themselves, no matter who they are. And I think especially teaching at Fairview, realizing that all of our students have it within them to use their voice. And I immediately think of Dr. Sarah Stevens. She was my predecessor at University Elementary. I was there for 11 years before I came here to Fairview. And one of the pieces of advice that she gave me is she said, you need to find every kid's it. You need to find what gets their wheels turning. You need to find a way to hone in, because she said, especially as music teachers, if you have a great deal of talent in a student, you don't want to overlook that. And because of her, I really go out of my way to know every single kid individually. And I think deep down, because of her, I do believe that music is in everyone. So I would love to thank my parents for this, my husband, Josh, and my principal, Marty Colglazier, and all of the amazing Fairview staff and faculty here, the performing arts team, Brennan and Lee, Andrew Huddleston, Shannon Starks, and our special area team, Dr. Brenda Brenner and Nathan Greenwood, the teachers that I taught with for 11 years at university, and of course the really inspiring teachers that I had as a child, like Miss B and the Rifes and Miss Meckley and Mrs. Cheeseman. So thank you.
Congratulations again, Maggie. Thank you for your dedication to serving our students. You have found your it. All right, tonight's final outstanding educator is the Special Education Department co-chair at Bloomington High School South, Barb Stork. Since returning to school in person, Barb has engineered staff activities to keep the climate lively and has supported both teachers and students through this challenging new year. Her nominator noted that in a time where the unknowns have been overwhelming, Barb has been an anchor for the things that we know for sure. All students are capable of success, and all teachers deserve to be celebrated. If you ask Barb about the effort she made this year in particular to help students achieve whatever goal they set for themselves, she would probably say that she was just doing the best to help her students. If you ask the students about those efforts, they would say that Ms. Stork was the difference between 2020 overcoming them and it being a year they felt they conquered. I think that is nothing short of outstanding. We are excited to recognize our final outstanding educator tonight, Barb Stork. Barb.
I am Barb Stork, and I am the Special Education Department co-chair and the Plato Credit Recovery coordinator at Bloomington High School South. I always wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, and because I love my kindergarten teacher, but when I was in college, at that time, that's when Public Law 94-142 came about, which was when individuals with disabilities were moved out of segregated facilities and into public schools. So I looked at it more from an employment standpoint of there's probably going to be more jobs in the special education field than there are to be a kindergarten teacher. So got my special ed degree. I can teach any grade, K-12, although I've always taught high school. When I think I'm having a hard day or that things in my life are hard, they're nothing compared to what some of these students are dealing with on a daily basis. The level of anxiety that students are coming in with, the students with mental illness, the students who have less than fun home situations, and how are they learning to navigate their lives, and as teachers, how do we help them navigate those ways? I kind of gave up the I'm going to save the world mentality a long time ago, because I know I can't save the world, but I can try to help one kid at a time And that's what I look to do. Actually, I think that the business community does a great job with supporting education here compared to a lot of the places that I hear about, and I have friends who work at different places. Monroe County businesses and the business community is pretty special in terms of how they do support our education system here in town. I was kind of flustered, but then I said, and what money's involved with this? Do I get a prize money? But no, I was very pleased. I was very surprised. And it was nice because it kind of validated everything that I've done for the last 41 years, that somebody thought enough of me to nominate me for this award.
And thank you for your leadership, Barb. Congratulations on your award. All right, now it's time to dance in the light, the Leading Light Award. This year, it's the Indiana Online Only Distance Education for English Language Learning. This category recognizes outstanding service and dedication with innovative and exemplary programs that enhance our education community. Tonight, we'd like to recognize one educational program for its dedication to serving our community. That program is the Indiana Online Only Distance Education for English Language Learning at MCCSC. It's a growing program that helps adult students learn, develop, and begin to master the English language. This program has been headed by Rob Moore, who supervises the teachers of the program. With instruction being offered online, the ELL program has opened the doors for adults to learn the English language who would otherwise have been prevented by family and work obligations. It has also proven to be beneficial not only to adults enrolled, but also to their children and families. It's allowed non-native English speakers to be more effectively help their children with at-home and virtual learning activities during the pandemic, showing the ripple effect that any form of education can have on those around us. It has also given English language learners the opportunity to advance in their career path and achieve professional goals. Let's learn a little bit more about this program, shall we?
My name is Rob Moore, and I'm the Director of Adult Education for Monroe County Community School Corporation at Broadview Learning Center. The Indiana Online Only for English Language Learners is an initiative of the Monroe County Schools Adult Education Program, in which we offer our English language learning classes in a completely distance learning format to native speakers other than English. Classes meet through video conferencing throughout the week for group lessons, and then we use some online instructional software from Burlington English for individual practice outside of the class. So we're helping them to improve their skills in reading, writing, speaking, and listening, so they can better access community resources, obtain and retain employment in demand and high-wage occupations, increase involvement in their children's education and literacy activities, and become more involved in community activities. And we're serving not only our local English language learners, but also a statewide audience. Well, so far in our first year, we have enrolled 150 English language learners in communities such as Bloomington, Spencer, Seymour, and Fort Wayne. About 50% of them so far have shown a measurable skill gain in their English language skills through standardized pre-testing and post-testing after instruction. Another accomplishment for us is we're working with two companies, Ronsel's Realty and Boston Scientific, for whom we're offering the English language learning training with their employees. Interestingly, another accomplishment for us is that the number of Spanish-speaking adult learners has increased by about 46% over this time last year. So we're very, very happy about that. 3 English language learning students so far have earned industry-recognized certifications in early childhood education. So I think it's just opened up opportunities to a larger audience and to a more diverse audience by removing those barriers to participation. Well, for us, the award provides an opportunity to highlight the good work that our adult education staff are doing, not just to continue, but to expand the reach of adult education services we're able to provide both locally and statewide. And so we also provides us an opportunity to showcase that work and hopefully to garner some attention. So we're very much appreciative of the Bloomington Chamber of Commerce for the prestigious recognition that they're giving us. Well, I'd like to thank obviously our adult education teachers and support staff for their outstanding work in providing Indiana Online only to students locally and statewide. Our employer partners, Juan Sells and Boston Scientific, for allowing us to serve their employees learning English skills. Our software partner, Burlington English, for their tremendous support in implementing distance learning, instructional activities for English language learners, and helping us to recruit some adult education providers like us and employers around the state. The Indiana Department of Workforce Development for providing the means for us to offer Indiana Online only to adults for us and Vincennes University. And again, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce for the prestigious award and the opportunity to make this initiative better known.
Looking sharp, Rob. Thank you. The award is clearly well-deserved. Congratulations. Now comes to the final award of the evening, the Lifetime Achievement Award, which goes to an educator who has made great strides in education and improving our local school systems. And I had the pleasure to talking to her last week for 15 to 20 minutes about Arizona on her way to Purdue University, which was a lot of fun. Now, according to her nominator, our Lifetime Achievement recipient, Kathleen Hugo, is known and loved for her quick wit, as well as her affinity for Twizzlers candy. She always knows just what to say to bring a little humor or light to any situation. It is along with her passion for helping kids that make Kathleen so special. For the last 13 years, Dr. Kathleen Hugo has been the director of MCCSC's Special Education Office. Unique among lifetime recipients, before MCCSC, she was employed by the Richland Bean Blossom District for 12 years. There, she ran the Forest Hills Special Education Cooperative with the Spencer-Owen County Community Schools. Now, Kathleen started her career in beautiful Mesa, Arizona, teaching deaf children. She received her PhD in special education behavior disorders from Arizona State University. Now, as a college freshman in Texas, Kathleen had a friend who was a sign language interpreter. When she went to visit a preschool for deaf students, she was immediately taken by that teacher's skill in helping her students develop both communication and academic skills. Her first thought was, that is what I want to do. And as you will see in the final video of the evening, Kathleen thoroughly enjoyed working with young people, and we are proud to recognize her as our 2021 Lifetime Achievement honoree. Kathleen.
My name is Kathleen Hugo, and I recently retired as the Special Education Director for Monroe County Community School Corporation. I got into education really because I had a good friend when I was first starting out in college who was an interpreter for deaf children. And I went and visited a classroom one day with her, and I was completely smitten by the teacher and the students and what was going on in the classroom. And so my first job in education, I was a teacher of the deaf in Texas. When I think of strong classroom leadership, I think of something that was originated by a scholar named Lisa Delpit. She wrote a book called Other People's Children. And in that book, she puts forth this belief that teachers should be what she called warm demanders. And what that meant was that teachers have to have really high expectations for all students, and they have to be really consistent and carry through and make sure that the children are accountable. But also they have to have a very warm and caring relationship. And those are the three things that can make any classroom a place where a student will thrive. What I have really learned from teachers and from the teachers that I've worked with, just everybody in education over the past many years, is that even though we don't have, we may not have all the tools that we need or the environment that we need to teach, that we really can do amazing things with students just by the virtue of what we're doing in the classroom with them and what we think about them and how we carry that out every day. The advice that I would give to people who are in education or thinking about going into education is that I would like them to realize the power they have, because teachers and all educators, administrators have such power to really change the life of a child. And I've seen it happen over the years, and it's incredible the things that teachers and administrators can do to really change the trajectory of the child's life. And that's something that's important to know. I was really thrilled when I got that call. I didn't quite believe it at first. I thought maybe it was a prank call. I was, of course, thrilled because I have been to many of these events in the past, and I know how delightful they are. And I think it's so wonderful that the Chamber is supporting education. And also, I'm really happy to see special education highlighted. One of my colleagues, Barb Stork, is an Educator of the Year this year as well. And so I love seeing the special education programs given that attention that they deserve. I would like to thank, all of the educators in Monroe County, particularly the ones in special education. Although in special education, we have a saying that they're all special educators, all of the educators. I would just like to thank all the people and the staff and students and families. I've been here almost 14 years, and it's been truly a wonderful, wonderful experience.
All right. That was Kathleen. Right now, I'd like to welcome Kathleen Hugo to the screen to accept her Lifetime Achievement Award. Kathleen, take it away.
Okay, I'm here. So, Christopher, when you asked me if I could say a few words, you said I could if I wanted to. My very first thought was of something that Dr. DeMuth had said to me a long time ago. She said, "Don't ever pass up the opportunity to talk about the great work that our schools do." And our schools really do great work. We know that. Teaching well is always hard. And as we have learned all too well, it's even harder now. And one of the aspects about public education that I really love the most is that our public schools have a responsibility to educate every single child. There is no child who would be deemed too disabled to receive an education in public school. And in MCCSC, we fully embrace that responsibility. We provide services to nearly 2,000 students with some type of disability, from something mild to sometimes things that are very, very challenging. And even in typical times, that takes an incredible amount of work from everyone, not just the special educators. And then last year, the pandemic obviously threw everything up in the air. And I was there for part of it. I was there in the spring and the fall. And in a funny way, I feel very fortunate that I got to be a part of that work, because I got to see firsthand really what at the time felt like taking an ocean liner and turning it into a speedboat overnight. And everyone, parents, teachers, administrators, all those principals, all of our colleagues in health services and social workers, not to mention, or I should say to mention, the maintenance and transportation department. All of them worked overtime to address all those kinds of problems that we never even knew existed before that. And we did it, they did it. And I will bet, even though I'm not there, that they're still doing it today, because everybody knows how high the stakes are, that it's so, so important. And I'm also grateful that I was able to participate in some of the non-pandemic types of work that was taking place, such as the work in areas such as equity and social and emotional learning that were taking place under the direction of Dr. Winston. That is so important, and I'm so proud of what MCC is doing in that regard. And so while I'm now retired, so I'm not an active part of this anymore, I'll really look forward to supporting in different ways and to watching from the sidelines as our schools really continue to do good work and great work, and that other people take the opportunity when they're given to talk about it. So thank you to the Chamber, and thank you to all my friends and colleagues. And I'm very, very honored to receive this award. So thank you.
No, thank you, Kathleen. Congratulations. Thank you for all you've done for both MCCSC and RBB during your career. Much appreciated. Now we are on the home stretch. Let's bring back Erin to close out the evening. Hello, Erin.
Thank you, Christopher. I appreciate all of your the winners that we've had so far, and both your and Cindy's help today as we celebrate our wonderful honorees. Let's give one more round of applause for our 2021 Educator of the Year awardees. One of the things that I'm reminded often about at the Chamber is that we are so very lucky. Our community, its schools, its businesses all work together so well to ensure that the children we raise and educate have a chance to succeed, a chance to glimpse the future, and a chance to live and to thrive. I think many of the adults watching would agree with me when I say that learning never stops. The work done by these educators and these programs ensure that the foundation of learning is strong for the students that they serve. I'm proud to have my children learning and growing in this community. I've witnessed firsthand the work of being done in our classrooms, both virtually and in person. My kids it's a hilarious time at our house sometimes with everybody trying to be online and juggle the different things going on, but it's been successful. And you teachers have worked so very hard to connect with the students, to bring joy in their days and laughter, just like you do when they're in the classroom. And so many of you are also juggling the things in person as well. So kudos to you. You've done a wonderful, amazing job. And our community cannot thank you enough for keeping going, keeping smiles on your face, and sharing that joy of learning with our children. As we've seen tonight, we know how important that is, especially that groundwork for a bright future that's being set every day. Even though we've been doing these awards for 20 years now, we know there are more people and programs out there that deserve recognition. If you know who they are and they haven't yet been recognized, please nominate them for an award next year. We would love to celebrate them again. Thank you again to all of our dedicated education professionals and to awardees both past and future. And congratulations to all of our honorees this evening. I want to take a special minute to thank one of our special partners, Smithville. They've been a partner of ours for many years, and we couldn't have had a successful celebration this evening without their support. We're going to watch a short video about Smithville and how they can help you too.
Smithville Media has been producing documentaries, features, and local videos for over a decade. Smithville Media can work with you to produce promotional video content for your business. A company overview, a commercial, product or service features, Smithville Media can make that happen. Maybe you need a training video for new employees or a corporate event covered. Smithville Media can do that too. For more information about Smithville Media productions and services, visit smithvillemedia.com or email media@smithville.com.
I would also again like to thank all of our sponsors for their support of the 2021 Educator of the Year Awards. They, along with our members, all have a heart for helping students grow and succeed, and we appreciate the trust and support our members give the Chamber every day. A special thank you to Solution Tree and Cook Group for their ongoing support of our educators. If you would like to be involved with the Success School, please contact Christopher MG at cemge@chamberbloomington.org. As any of our current and past volunteers can attest, helping connect students to the future is really fun. It's often hilarious and it's definitely rewarding. We work to show them their options, but we couldn't do it without the help of all of our volunteers. So thank you again for joining us tonight. If you know an educator, which I know all of you do, please give them a high five, a fist bump, a wave, a smile, a hug when you can. But thank them for the amazing work that they're doing for our community every day. And on the behalf of the children and the future of our community, we thank you here from the Chamber. Have a wonderful evening.